You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was real good.
Hard.
Welcome to Movie Bakers with the Farx brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
I'm George.
And we're going to do a Minnesota segment. You're seeing this out of order with the other things. You know how the show works. I'll let you introduce the guest.
Oh, we're joined by Matt Osterman, writer, director, and entrepreneur.
Matt, you're very, you said overexposed because, as I rip this.
Yeah, go on. You want to take that again?
No, Matt, you're very overexposed.
What? I can't.
As you're putting out all this Minnesota Film Alliance content out, like, are they contracting you to do this, or you're just like, no, we need to make this work, and you're kind of like one of the best advocates for us?
Yeah. So I'm just a member. I heard last year what they were going for, and I said, yeah, this is it. You know, I've been involved over the years and been pushing for certain things, and it just never quite hit where we wanted to. So when I heard what they're trying to do, I'm like, all right, you have my sword. Like, I'm all in.
What are they trying to do in case someone's coming to this?
Yeah, so, you know, it's incentives around film production. So every state has a different kind of incentive package. Some don't, but most do. And we, in the 90s, we had a really great incentives package called the Snowbait. And that's when we had big Hollywood productions come through, and it was kind of the golden age of movie making here. And then Canada stole our thunder. And then, you know, it's been a war between the states ever since. Then Europe is winning, and it's a whole thing. So we had some incentives passed, you know, a few years back that were hard fought, but the moment they were passed, they were already outdated and just not competitive, and those funds have gone unspent. And with the new incentive package, it's going to put us, you know, probably within the top 5 states in the country in terms of competitive packages. So when I learned, like, hey, this is what we're going for and it has a shot, I dropped everything and I'm like, I'm just going to help. So that's what I've been doing.
Could you describe? Oh, you go first.
Well, yeah, I was curious because I haven't been following it too much. The new incentive package is something that's not active yet, right? I assume, but it's something that's being proposed.
It's being proposed,
and and if it were to go through, you're saying it would make us very competitive.
Yeah. So right now, the state has a 25% tax rebate.
Okay.
Or tax credit, I should say. There's a difference between credit and a rebate.
Yeah.
At $1 million minimum. So you have to spend $1 million, and then you can get a 25% credit, which, you know, you have to sell, and it's really not 25%. Whereas, like, you know, Canada is like 30 to 35. Europe is 45, 50, sometimes 60. So who's going to come to Minnesota? We don't have a compelling reason to come here. We have a great crew, we have great actors, we have great locations, but just not enough. So we don't have the infrastructure to host a large production, let alone 2 or 3. So with these new proposed policy changes, and they're just policy changes only, there's no like, hey, we need more money. It's a 40% base credit with the ability to bump it up to 45% if you know, there's just a couple little things that hoops you'd have to jump through to get to 45%. Very easy. And then lowering it to $400,000 for out-of-state productions, or $150,000 if it's like a Minnesota written script.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And commercials too can utilize that as well. So in years past, I was kind of like the anti-commercial, like we shouldn't allow, you know, the corporate, you know, folks to steal the money. Right now, I don't care because nobody's working.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to work, and that's how we keep the tool sharp. That's how we just get better as a community. And I do commercial stuff too, so it's like I get it. But I think now's our chance to strike. And, you know, it's currently with some legislatures, and all signs point to it being positive, and we have a real shot to make it happen. So they're obviously in session right now. I don't know when this will be released, but hopefully we'll have good news in a couple of months.
Yeah, this will be released. We don't know when, but
I mean, I give you a headline. Maybe May almost. Yeah.
Yeah, we may know by May.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was
That'd be awesome.
mid-May was when we may know by, because I'm also in the MFA.
Yep.
I came right from surgery to the last meeting.
Oh, good job.
That's why my arm was in a sling.
Oh, right.
And if I took it out, it would go. And then I came and did this show afterwards, and I held it up on that. That's why that crutch is there.
All right. Makes sense.
Explain it to the people. Yeah.
They know. They're following the show regularly.
I hope so.
Punching Nazis.
No, I fell off my skateboard. I've talked
I
about
mean,
it.
come on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Punching
and-
Nazis is a way
yeah.
cooler
If
story.
you're on your skateboard, you punch a Nazi and then fall off.
The only way I know they're Nazi is if they propose the genocide and actually have the ability to conduct the genocide. What do you want people to do? Let's say this came out at the end of April. What could people be doing in general to help this program? Like the average person, who's listening to this in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I would say join the MFA because even if this passes, there's going to be more battles that need to be fought. It's going to be every couple of years, and then right now the funds there do sunset in 2030, so we need to get that extended. And the MFA is just kind of the trade organization for filmmakers in Minnesota. So there's going to be other battles we have to fight, like I said. And then at the very least, if you don't join, follow on social, sign up for the newsletter, because there will become a time when we have to get activated and go to the Capitol. Sometimes you don't find out till the night before, right?
Wow.
At 10 o'clock at night, they're like, okay, we got an 8 a.m. hearing.
Yeah.
It's not because people are bad at communicating. It's just because that's when you find out.
Right. Yeah.
So we want to, show up for that sort of stuff too. And then, typically they say don't reach out to your legislator unless they're on a specific committee, right? Because if you bother somebody that has no say in the matter, it's not really going to do anything, and you just might annoy them. You know. So yeah, I think just put good vibes out there. That's so fun.
How does I know, but how does one join the MFA?
Yeah, just go to mnfilmalliance.org, and there's an easy way to sign up. It's $85 a year if you're a regular human, $35 if you're a student.
And that money goes towards lobbying efforts, correct?
Predominantly, yep. And there's some small overhead things, but yeah, that's the big push right now.
Still in the Minnesota segment, why do you think they push something through? Like, you were around, I was around then, I was talking to some of the people that were taking the pictures right after, this got passed.
Yep.
Why do you think it got pushed through the way it did instead of more competitively from the start?
Yeah, I think, it would have been a competitive thing 10 years ago, right? So I think we're just maybe working off of bad data, or it was the only thing we could get past. I wasn't in the room for those negotiations. And we have other organizations in town too that have differing opinions.
Oh, like unions and that sort of thing?
That could be one of them, yep.
Yeah.
So, we'll just use unions as an example. I'm not going to rag on unions at all.
Sure, yeah.
But, unions are there to protect the worker, right? And low budget indies typically aren't where union members get paid and, can get enough days to, qualify for health and all of those things. So it's not a priority for those folks, understandably. But my point of view is that we need to develop, our bench strength. And I'm not even talking about telling good stories, right? Just as a community, we need projects of all varieties and different budget levels, because not everything is going to be a $5 million, movie. Some things need to be $200,000 movie because that's the only way they're going to have a shot to make their money back. So we just need to. I think we need just a bigger table, and you make enough of those small things, some are going to pop, right? I made a small thing and it popped, and I got lucky, and it kept pushing me up. I used the rebate back in the day, right? There's a $25,000 movie.
Oh, you were able to use the rebate at that? What was the rebate then? This was 2008 when you shot, or 2007 when you had to apply?
2000, one of those years,
sure.
Yeah. But we shot it in 2008, so in fall. So we probably applied in 2008. But I think we got $3,000 back, which for a $25,000 movie, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So it really helped with post and some of our marketing and all of that, and it made a material difference. So, I'm sure there are examples where, we could draw a straight line from getting those incentives to like that movie being able to take the next step, right?
Sure, and the way I have heard it argued for like, Minnesota's a big and diverse state. We have a lot of farmland, and we have a lot of, just put it bluntly, Trump country around us, which I don't hate those folks, and I think they contribute to they pay their taxes just like we do.
Certainly.
And I'm not on a side, just to be clear, but trying to explain like, hey, why would someone go to MCTC and pay for 2 years of school to then get into a trade that doesn't exist here? Like you've got a gaffer, if he can only get a couple of indie projects and then commercial work where he can in between, and there's less of it. Yep. Basically, we got to build up a bunch of blue collar people, is how I've heard it argued. Yep. And that we're not going to do that without people even getting the blue collar experience.
Right.
To get up to that.
Right. If there aren't projects, right? Like if you're a plumber or an electrician or a framer and no one's building houses, what are you going to do? Right? Like just go, work on your garage, right? You need the projects to justify developing that talent.
And this is actually where we can get something we may not cover in other sections tonight. You're an entrepreneur yourself. You've built businesses. You've built an ISP company. You've run a marketing company, and you're now working on a home improvement company that's
like
got
climate focused company. Yeah.
Climate focused. Oh, it's a climate focused company. It's not specifically for homes, even though it's about insulation. And that
yeah, it's a whole thing, but yeah.
So I guess, given that level of credibility, if you're someone who's kind of like, we're not giving Hollywood people money, screw that. Speak from that, like, try and make an argument to those folks. This is a bait show, what is this going to do based on your experience, and what should be our expectations by 2030 maybe?
Yeah, a lot of ways to attack that. So in like local or regional economics, there's a thing called the velocity of a dollar, right? When a dollar comes from the outside and gets spent locally, that dollar typically doesn't just like get put in a drawer, right? And, gets devalued, over years. It gets spent, right? And usually you'll go spend it somewhere, hopefully locally, right? You go to the coffee shop, right? And that worker there gets a wage and they go spend their money somewhere else locally, right? So that dollar keeps getting recycled over and over and over again. And I think Illinois just came out with a study that in terms of production, every dollar that is spent in state, it turns it into like $6. So anytime you can attract that outside funding, it's a boon to the economy. You're not just bringing in $10 million from LA, you're bringing in maybe $60 million. And that just has that effect that is accretive, right? And then in terms of jobs, right, I don't think I have to argue that a whole lot. If you're bringing in projects, you're employing people, right? And we've kind of been living in this Schrodinger's industry for a while where it's like, hey, we're busy. Oh, now we're dead. And a lot of those folks have to go do something else. And they might come back when we have another project, or we lost them forever. So it's this, ping pong game, trying to develop and keep talent. And in that giant sucking sound we've been hearing for the last 20 years of all of our talent going out to the coasts, right? Like you go to a film set in New York or LA, you're going to run into upper Midwest folks, and usually they're the hardest working folks there. We have a reputation for being some of the smartest, hardworking people anywhere. And that's a fact. You can go talk to almost anybody on any set and elsewhere, and you'll know who are the upper Midwestern folks. We want to keep those people here, right? And then we want to tell our stories, right? I think there's a culture thing that gets lost if you outsource all of your storytelling to people that aren't from here. So I think we need to kind of steal that back and tell stories how we want. Not saying that we have that we're better at it per se, but we have our own perspective and we have our own way of viewing the world. And I think that's true for every region, right? Everybody should be able to tell their own stories, and whatever lands. And I think that's how culture is developed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling now, but
Well, the idea of a federalized system is that each state is competing to make all of us as a United States better, and I like that. So the argument to me as a fiscal conservative who just figured out my taxes and figured out how much more I have to pay, Tim as well as Donnie, and
You gotta pay me. Yeah. You gotta pay me.
that was a great Timmy
pretty
Walls.
good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm a fiscally conservative Minnesotan living in northern Minnesota. I will be bringing outside money into Minnesota, theoretically, because outside people are going to want to spend here because we're in the top 10. We are working to be in the top 10% of states that have an incentive program, realizing we're still going to be competing as a country with Europe. Well, Europe as a place, and Canada and the rest of the world, seemingly.
Yep.
And maybe it will.
I mean, they're talking about federal film credits right now too.
Yeah, and
right?
both sides are talking about it.
Right, because they know, like, why are we sending everybody to the UK to make stuff right now? Like, yeah, we can rewind that a little bit. I was going to say, like, UK deserves to work too, but like when you're talking about like policy, right? We have to be a little bit protectionist.
Think global, act local.
For sure.
We're saying, hey, yeah, we want them to thrive as well, but when you talk about toxic humility, I think it can develop into toxic empathy, where you're not taking care of yourself. You have to put your mask on first, so that you can help others.
Yep. I will co-sign.
Don't be toxically humble.
I think, so that proposal, like, I think, was it 150,000? Like, would be like, I feel like that's the best of both worlds, because like. Yeah, of course you want for the overall economy. Like, it's great if Disney's going to come and do Mighty Ducks 5 and 6, right? But like, you still want to be able to those lower, like the type of thing that we're going to be doing theoretically to be able to take advantage and do homegrown stuff, because there's stuff that comes from out of town, and like. Yeah, great. The actors here can get like bit parts in like the crowd scene and Jingle All the Way. Yep. Right. Or you know what I mean? Like, but like,
and they're flying in all of the keys and the department heads.
That's the thing. They're flying in so many people. Like, the only jobs left are
PAs.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, that's why I have been. You've heard me rant about it. Like, well, I don't give a shit about the fucking, because like. Because if it's
never going to apply to you.
If it's only movies, yeah. I mean, like they're not gonna hire their editor here. They're not gonna hire. I'm not trying to be a DP on feature films anyway, but like, for actors, like it's the same thing. You're gonna be in the crowd when Arnold Schwarzenegger is like trying to give me the toy. Right. I want the toy. Like,
you have voices. That's good. I mean, like, if you look at it, if you're trying to break into camera, right? You're not going to get hired as a second on a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
You might get hired as a second on like a low budget $200,000 movie, right? And let's say you're good at it, you're going to move up to a first, and you're going to do that for a while. Then you're like, okay, I want a DP. Then you're going to do that for a while, right? The only way to do that is on the lower budget stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then like if you have an incentive that allows for those types of homegrown projects to like actual exports, like when a big production comes to town, like it's not they're just coming here to like because for the incentive, or because it's about hockey and it's snowy here, they're gonna film here. But like a homegrown project where it was written here and it's made by people who are from here, and like, but you're making it for 200,000 or 100, is it 150 that the proposal is? Yeah. Like, I want to see more stuff like that get made.
Right.
And anything that can help that get more of those get made, because I think our industry, well, would you agree we don't really currently have an industry here for narrative film?
Yeah.
We have an industry for like maybe commercial and corporate.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I just like
second most advertising jobs per capita after New York.
Yeah. But for narrative, like, you want to like give broaden the opportunities to make stuff that you can like export to the mainstream market, and it's not everything's gonna hit, because I have my opinions on like not everyone here is making stuff that like even if they had all the money in the world, they're not making stuff that is.
But why is that? why are they not making this stuff?
Because they're not getting a challenge from the outside and having to compete not just nationally but globally, because they're not making the stuff that gets out of here.
We're in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to learn from folks that
Yeah.
know what they're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess where I was going with that was like sometimes the sensibilities here are more about like we're just, and I don't know if it's budget or if this is just really what they want to make, but it's like, people sitting around talking about like the meaning of life.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to watch that.
No, I mean we good enough is kind of the MO for a lot of folks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's like I don't know if that's just really what they want to make or if they're just making that because that's all they can make. But anything that makes it easier to make a film that you can try to put out in the market, I think is a good thing.
I just don't think there's been enough modeling of what it takes, to make an amazing film, or what's involved, or what you should be thinking about, right? People are just kind of winging it, and it's not their fault. There's just no one there to learn from or to point to. Obviously, like clearly, if they took more initiative, there's tons of way to do it. Like that's how I'm self-taught, right? Back when they had, behind the scenes and special features on DVDs, that was my film school, right? Read every book you could on filmmaking. So there are ways to do it, but I had time and initiative, right? So I think if we can start modeling to folks, like you can do it that way, or you can learn from people that are doing it directly. I think we need to show people a little bit more that it's possible, and there's just being in proximity to people doing it, right? It just rubs off. It really does, and it's happened to me before. When you see somebody doing something great, you're like, oh, okay, that's going to push me a little bit harder, because I can see like, okay, they're doing it now. I can attempt to get to that level too.
Once someone ran the 4-minute mile, a bunch of people were able to run.
It was crazy, right?
You need to be at a gym where there's people better than you, so you can become better.
Do you think that's here, though? Do we have enough?
We're working
good
on
people?
creating that, and we've had a convert within this segment, so I do believe the segment is successful.
A convert?
You kind of converted in this.
What did I convert from?
What do you mean?
You're now pro the local incentives and see the value based on. You might join the MFA for all.
I don't think he was ever against it.
I probably will. I was never against it. I was just saying, like, from a point of view of because the limit was like, what was it, like $5 million?
Million bucks.
Million bucks.
Million, yeah.
There's a difference between like waiting here for productions to come, which is great if you want to be like a grip or whatever. But like, if you are like say a writer, a producer, like the type of thing that we're trying to do, and being all cryptic about it because like I don't want to go into too much detail, but we're trying to make a feature. But like,
we're making a feature.
we're working toward making a feature, and like those incentives wouldn't help us
yet.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in their current state. That's what I'm saying. So I've never been against incentive. I'm all for like, hey, bring more work in. Like even I don't need to be a beneficiary of it. Like I'm not gonna go grip. I'm like I don't want to carry. I'm 41 years old. I'm not gonna carry C-stands around all day. Like I can't.
I've watched him do it within the past year, so he says that.
I don't even leave. This thing stays in my living room because I don't want to carry it upstairs. You may want to carry it up around set all day.
It's not on camera, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's a C-stand.
What a
for
good
everyone
one.
who can't see it. It's a C-stand just out of frame that I don't want to
very
move.
nice.
Call it out. Yeah.
So
Well, we'll look forward to the debate next.
Yeah, I think so. I think we have a
Is that-
lively debate. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.